Kwazwai, Muri Zimbabwe, Ndinamkamchira Mchonga Chedu Chewe Chidiki, Ushelo The Connection, Lilami Michael Hove. Welcome, Muri Zimbabwe, Mtagazo Mushe to The Connection, a Studio 7's very own youth program that targets tackling anything and everything youth related. Now, Mtagazo Mushe, usually I like to say hi. We're coming to you live from Studio 7 Voice of America. Coronavirus is very jealous. So because of that, I'm coming to you from my home in Washington, D.C. Kunjalo nje kusenjalo mthokozo muhle chirongwa chinoendera mberi nasi mchirongwa chokubata nyaya yezvechirwere coronavirus. Tonight on The Connection, we continue the discussion on coronavirus COVID-19. Now, when we're talking global numbers, Maria Zimbabwe, mthokozo muhle, so far, the coronavirus has taken over 120,000 lives worldwide. 120,000, over 120,000 lives and counting. By the time we go on air, I'm sure the numbers would have increased. As we speak, over 1,900,000 people have tested positive for COVID-19. Now, this number has increased from last week, where it was 1,300,000. The number has increased by over 600,000 people. Now, if we look at our local Zagalayo in Zimbabwe, as we speak, so 17 coronavirus. 17 people so far have tested positive for COVID-19. The last time we spoke last week, we only had 10. Now, as for the number of people who have passed on due to coronavirus, that number fortunately has not changed. It is still 3 people. Now, yesterday, the Ministry of Information so labantu abayi 17 coronavirus sikhuluma nje abantu abayi 9 of 17 people are under the age of 35. Now, the Ministry of Health, via their Twitter page, their Facebook page, and other mediums, also highlights when we're talking about the numbers of abantu that have been tested so far for coronavirus, 604, and I'm reading officially off their Twitter page, 604 people have tested positive for COVID-19, 587 people have tested negative, and 17 people have tested positive for COVID-19. Of those 17, 3 have died due to coronavirus. Now, if you're wondering, all this is happening and what exactly is government up to, government has been up to a lot of things when we're talking about the fight against coronavirus. Yesterday, Nick Mangwana of the Ministry of Information, 30 people have flew into Zimbabwe on Ethiopian Airlines. All of them are going to be compulsory quarantined. So let's head over to Dr. Prosper Chonzi of the Harare City Council. What's going on with these 30 people and what's the procedure forward from there forth? Dr. Prosper.
Yes, so the procedure is when they arrive at our airport, we are supposed to make sure that they are quarantined. This is compulsory quarantining. So they will go to one of our isolation facilities. At the moment, there's a facility that has been identified in Mashonaland West. So before they go there, they pass through Wilkins Hospital for screening. But not just for screening where you use the thermoscanner, we actually do the PCR test. So we'll have, for them, they'll get the swabs done. Those that are symptomatic will be detained at Wilkins until we get the result. The rest, if they're okay, we'll take the specimens, then we allow them to go to the quarantine center. Those that are symptomatic will remain with us so that we get the result. If it is positive, then of course they are positive, they are confirmed. We have to deal with them the same way we deal with the positive patients. If they are symptomatic, we'll manage their symptoms.
All right, you just heard there from Dr. Prosper Chonzi of the Harare City Council. Now, that footage there that you were watching is courtesy of the Ministry of Health Facebook page. See, over the weekend, Minister of Health, Dr. Obadiah Moyo, he recently toured Pararinyatwa Hospital Now, Pararinyato Hospital has set aside a designated area for what they're calling an isolation center for umkhuhlane we-coronavirus. So as we continue, sisabe silethulela lokho kushiwo ngu-Dr. Obadiah Moyo lapho he was basically breaking down echasisa ukuthi yena ukubona njani lokho okwenzakalayo Pararinyato Hospital, whereby sizwe ukuthi isibhedlela lesi sePararinyato Hospital has set aside an area lapho they're going to be putting aside testing for umkhuhlane lo we-coronavirus.
I was invited here by Pararinyato Hospital management to come and see their plan for converting part of Pararinyato Hospital into corona isolation unit. As a Ministry of Health, we have advised all health institutions across the country to identify areas where they can also be able to place people with coronavirus disease. So this is happening countrywide. In the provinces, some provinces have identified 2-3 rooms, and some have come up with makeshift arrangement. Here at Pari, they've decided to demarcate. So they were just showing us the demarcations, the areas that they want to utilize.
You just heard there from Dr. Obadiah Moyo. This footage was courtesy of the Ministry of Health Facebook page yabo. Sakandiyo nyathi nayo nasi mchirongwa muri Zimbabwe chirwere che coronavirus zviri kufamba zvakanaka here munyika. As we speak, we're broadcasting on a radio on 909 medium wave frequency, zvakare pa 4930 6040 nepa 15460 kilohertz. I must remind you, Muri Zimbabwe, Chirongwa ichi is pre-recorded, so unfortunately you will not be able to join us in Chirongwa chedu chevechidiki semazwa ose. Zvisine munokwanisa kututumira maondero enyu pa WhatsApp number edu pa number dzinoti +1 202 465 0318. Number iyi zvekare +1 202 465 0318. Makachirira Chirongwa chedu chevechidiki uhlelo The Connection lilami uMike Hove. All right, Muri Zimbabwe, nasi ngatichiendera mberi nenyaya yatinayo. Now let's head over to our medical experts who are going to be breaking down what exactly is going on and everything they've seen. Joining us is Dr. Tinotenda Smemeza. He's a medical practitioner. He's going to be breaking down his opinion on everything that's going on. Doc, welcome to the program. How are you doing? How are things looking?
I'm doing well, thanks, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Just the quarantine, staying home. I miss the people. But besides that, I'm alive and blessed. So thank you so much for taking time out to join us.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Now, Doc, let's dive into everything that's happening in Munyika. Coronavirus. Last week, the last time I was here on air, it was 10 people. This week, 7 days later, 17 people. Of those 17 people, 9 are under the age of 35. My first question is, usually we talk about, when we talk about coronavirus, everyone is at risk. However, is there a relationship between this, when we're talking, somehow over 50% are under the age of 35? Is this just coincidental, or is there a relationship here?
That's an interesting question. I think to start off, let me just say the problem that we have right now with coronavirus or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, is that it's a new virus. It's a new disease. So we do not know exactly what it does. And we are mainly, especially for us who are in Zimbabwe, we are mainly basing our evidence on other countries that have had more experience in terms of the pandemic. So we mainly have to rely with statistics that are out there, like in places like China, the UK, and so forth. So I think our ministry has done about 604 tests, and 17 have been found to be positive, and 3 people have unfortunately demised. And as you rightfully said, that about 9 patients of those that have tested positive are under the age of 35. So in the long and short of it, let me just say the statistics is too small for us to conclude that it's mainly affecting people who are under the age of 35 in Zimbabwe. And also, it's more likely to be a coincidence, because if you read the brief summaries that are given on each and every patient, you will see that there's a history of travel. There's also a history of contact with someone who had recently traveled, or contact with someone who actually demised from the condition. So unfortunately, I'm afraid to say that it's not adequate statistics to conclude that this virus is mainly affecting people who are under the age of 35 in Zimbabwe.
Now, Doc, you mentioned Kuti, thus far 604 people have been tested for coronavirus. Of the, majority, of course, have tested negative. Only 17 have tested positive. First question is, considering the fact that over 600 people have been in and out of the country throughout this time, excluding the lockdown period, of course, is this enough testing to ensure kuti vana vana chirwerechi or chirwerechi is not spreading in the country?
I'm afraid this is not enough testing. I think the thing is to Takaita lockdown, and also we're supposed to do testing, like rampant testing throughout the period. So what happens when we have a lockdown, if you contracted the virus before the lockdown, the symptoms are supposed to manifest, and then you're supposed to communicate with the authorities and then get tested, and then the procedures go on from there. But unfortunately, I think the number that we have had, 604, is really a small number. Because if you see in South Africa, they had their first case in Cape Town, I think in Kailicha. And 2 weeks later, they had more than 500 tests done. But we have done 604 tests since we had our first case. So I believe this is a really small number, and we need to test more. We might be actually getting false confidence, saying that the virus is not spreading. Yet people are going out there, are positive but haven't been tested. So this is a really small number. As compared to what the rest of the region is doing.
Zvino Doc, mungatitsanangurira kuti chiri kunyatsonetsa chii apa sezvo manyatsobata mukati vanhu vari kutestwa vashomanene zvikurusa. Chii chiri kunyatsonetsa apa? Why vasiri kungofamba vachitesta? Inyaya yemaresources here chiri kunyatsonetsa chii?
So, as you know, I think most of the information that we're getting is from the Ministry of Health. They are the ones who know exactly the number of test kits they have and so forth. So, in particular for coronavirus, test inoitwa inonzi iyo PCR, polymerase chain reaction. That is the one that is almost 100% specific. So such that if someone is tested and tests positive, duo test chayo yaka nyanyo ratidza kuti ndio inobata chirwere ichi. So according to the ministry last week, they said they had like at most 500 kits that they had to test the virus. So that's why the tests hadn't been done as much. But I think they say they are doing more work so as to get more reagents in the country so that they get to test more. So we are hoping that by the time or as soon as possible, we're going to be having more test kits in the country. I saw a post today by the Minister of Information saying they are aiming to do more than 20,000 tests by the end of this month. Not knowing if it's possible or not, but I think we need to have those reagents in the country as soon as possible so that all the criteria for testing are taken into account.
Now, Dr. Simemeza, mambo batanya testing tambo ridzawo imwe video apo tichinzwa Dr. Obadiah Moyo we-Ministry of Health vachinyatsotsanangura vachiti they're going to be using different hospitals, isolation centers, kunenge tingati kurapwa kwechirwere ichi checoronavirus. Nemaonero enyu idanho rakanaka here sezvo tichitarisa nyaya yekuti mahospitals aya muzvipatara izvi it's not just kuparinyatwa, it's not just vanhu vane coronavirus chete, kune vanhu vanenge vane flu nezvinhu zvakasiyana-siyana. Is this the right move towards, I guess, treating or curbing coronavirus munyika? Mungati idanho rakanaka herero?
All right. I think Chiptanga, let me go back to the facts when we started to say that this is a new virus. It's new to everyone. So we do not know exactly how it functions per se. So I'm expressing my own opinion here when it comes to making Parinyatwa an isolation center. The challenge that we are going to face is that at Parinyatwa we see different patients, and Parinyatwa at the moment is already overwhelmed by other patients with other conditions. So, and then they're saying, we only heard news this week. We haven't been informed how exactly it's going to be run or how exactly we are going to do it. But they say they were going to partition the hospital such that COVID cases take another section. But what I'm saying, we need measures to make sure that we prevent cross-infection. Because as long as someone is already in the hospital, it means they are vulnerable to get infected. So the main challenge is to say, do we have the adequate support system to say we're going to prevent those patients with corona from infecting the patients who do not have coronavirus? And like I was saying, most of our information or most of what we know about the virus, we've been getting from other countries. And what we've seen other countries do, they are making isolation units far from other hospitals or other patients with different conditions. Like what we saw in China, Vaka Hospital Yao, in a week, separate from other hospitals. What we're seeing in the UK now, they have a separate hospital altogether that is just dealing with coronavirus patients. So for us to go down this route is going to be new because other people are not taking the same route. So we need to have the adequate system in terms of how we are going to be disinfecting the place, the environment. How are we going to be managing the inflow and outflow of patients, with making sure that people are not contaminated or do not contract the virus. And also the second problem that this gives us is it shows that most of our health workers are going to be somewhat exposed to the virus, especially isusu anoshanda paparinyatwa, whether or not you are directly involved with patients with COVID-19. And that will bring about a risk in terms of having health workers contract the virus and to some extent or die from the condition. And we are already understaffed. We are already understaffed. So this means if, let's say, in Italy, there are 50 medical practitioners died from the virus. If 50 doctors die in Zimbabwe, that's a really huge chunk in terms of percentage of people working in the health sector. So I'm yet to see the full details from the Minister and the Minister of Health on how we are going to be conducting it and how we are going to prevent cross-infections in the hospital. We are personally talking on behalf of myself. I do not with some of the people I've been facility like Wilkins or St. Ains or what, it would have been better. And then we focus our resources and our manpower that is directly involved with COVID patients, such that we do not have cross-infection. Because as it stands, I think we really need a good support system to support the structure that they are going to implement.
All right. Ngatichibata nyaya zviri kuitika kumisika yakasiyana siyana. We saw last week Mbare Misika reopened. And we've spoken to a lot of medical practitioners. I'm keen to hear what you have to say. And a lot of them feel as though that is just a field day for coronavirus waiting to happen. What is your take on that?
I think it's a bad move. From what we have been noticing is happening around the world. We see with coronavirus, the best form of treatment is actually prevention. And especially for us who are coming from resource low settings, we have to prevent the virus from spreading by any means necessary. So the problem that this will give is that we are going to start exposing a lot of people to the virus. Vanhu vakawanda vanokwanisa kubata utachiona kumisika idzodzo enge taona kuti utachiona uyu unospreada necontact also unospreada kuma-crowded places. So I think this is a really bad move, and I think we should reconsider or find ways to go around it to make sure that people can sell their produce without actually having to crowd a place. So I think this is we should find a way to do it differently. I don't think this is...
Now, Docs members, whilst on the same issue, I've also spoken to young farmers who, for them, of course, it's an exciting notion because number one, they get to sell their produce in Makayoksiji. If they don't get to sell their produce, but that aside, they are also concerned about their health measures being taken. A lot of them are advising that that social distancing be something that's enforced at these areas. They're also advising different people who are going to be selling at these markets to to go sell kumbare misika. So let's try to spread out the amount of people that are selling at different that aside, they also are advising people to fambai munema sanitizer so that and then they touch it. Is this something that you think would be advisable in the right direction?
Oh, well, I think if they then go ahead with what they're deciding to do to open up the markets, it will be really important for everyone to take preventative measures so that they don't get to contract the virus. So also another thing, I know people are saying sanitizer is the best, but actually it has been seen that soap and water is actually the best in terms of preventing people from contracting the virus. Why? Because the virus is made up of a DNA, which is at the center, and a fatty layer that surrounds the virus, which is best destroyed by soap. So it's actually better to use soap rather than to use sanitizer as much as you can. So if you don't have soap, that's when you can use hand sanitizer. And if they are going to go ahead with opening the market, I think it would be best for people to at least, if they can, wear face masks or homemade masks if you can make one at home, because in the chance that you might have the virus, it will prevent you from dropping droplets on surfaces or on directly or to other people. So all the preventative measures should be taken. But I would say, in my own opinion, representing myself, I would say I don't think it's wise to open up these markets at this point in time, whereby we haven't even taken control of the few cases that we have.
Now, Dr. Chitarisa especially in Africa, South Africa being one of the places that are hardest hit. We recently saw President Cyril Ramaphosa extending the 21 days by another 2 weeks. Considering the fact that Zimbabwe seems to be trailing in the same direction, number of cases seem to be slowly increasing, the amount of people testing positive are slowly increasing, the amount of people who are dying because of COVID-19 are slowly increasing. Would you suggest something similar for the lockdown to be extended?
So you see the situation in South Africa at the moment, they have the lockdown in place, but you can see they're also testing patients. I think over 80,000 patients have been tested in South Africa. So a lockdown works hand in hand with adequate testing as well, so that you help to flatten the curve. I'm sure you've heard about the term flattening the curve. It just means we want to decrease the number of cases. So for us, we might end up going in that direction, depending on the number of tests that we are going to be doing and seeing where the epicenter in our country is. So I think right now what we need to do before we jump to conclusion is actually to start contact tracing and also to start testing people. And this will give us a better reflection of where exactly is the epicenter in Zimbabwe, where is the virus being transmitted the most. So we might end up going in the same direction because in terms regionally, South Africa and us, we're in the same region. So which means what they are experiencing, we are most likely to experience as well. So I see us going in that direction if we do not start testing people as soon as possible.
Now, Dr. Smemeza, let's move forward the conversation. First of all, a lot of people are complaining about the issue of water. The best way to ensure that COVID-19 is not contracted, but people seem to be complaining about water, one, and two, my sanitizer and so I was reading somewhere that someone can actually wash their hands using ash, and that should be something that's helpful. Is this true? Is this factual? What's going on here? Network. Doc, are you still there? Oh shit! I think the doctor's gone there. All right, let's try. Dr. Smemeza, you still there? All right, I think the doctor is disconnected there. All right, we'll try to get Dr. Smemeza back on the line. Chirongwa the connection with Mike Hove. Dr. Sakon, Dr. Smemeza, you still there? Nyamuzo kodwa khanya ngani inetwork yakhe ilahlupha. Hayi wesiqhubekele phambili ngodaba esilalo namhla kuhlelo msakazo omuhle nasi imchirongwa ethi kubathanya yezwe che coronavirus kuhlelo silo Dr. Tinotenda Smemeza, udokotela usakhulayo, he works at Parinyatwa Hospital. Sithinte indaba eziningi ezijiyeneyo limzwile udokotela echasisa esithi ngombono wakhe in his personal opinion njengodokotela hayi ukuthi ukhulumile abodokotela bonke uthi yena ubona ngani lokho okufuna ukwenziwa nguhulumende ukuthi sebenza ama-isolation centers in different hospitals, hayi uthi cha kumele sikwakhe amanye isibhedlela ezijiyeneyo separate hospitals ukuze sizisebenzise for umkhuhlane we-coronavirus as ama-isolation centers. Hayi lokho okufuna ukwenziwa nguhulumende ukuthi bafisa ukusebenzisa i-Parinyatwa Hospital as an isolation center. Ngiphinde ngambuza ngathi yena ubona ngani the amount of testing that's being done in the country, is it enough? Uthi cha Mike, 600 kuphela, it's not enough. Uhulumende kumele azame. Asibona ukuthi usakhona yini uDoc. Doc, are you still on the line? Are you back? Ngiyambona ukuthi ukhona udokotela kodwa akazwakali. Doc, are you still there? Hayi ngibona ngani inetwork yakhe ayikho iyahlupha. Sazama ukumthola sibona ukuthi uzaphenduka na. Ngiphinde ngambuza udokotela ukuthi last ukuthi ngeviki edlule sibone uhulumende nikeza i-green light to abalimi ukuthi bona bazame phela bathengise different goods and so forth emkambo echiyeneyo, for example ngasembaremsika ngasendaweni ezijiyeneyo yena uthi ubona ngani that move so umkhuhlane we-coronavirus is pending and waiting. So sitsheleni phela silukandaba silakho ukusishayela lakho ukusithumezela imibonelo ku-WhatsApp kunombolo ethi +1 202 465 0318 ku-WhatsApp. Ukuselisitshele phela ukuthi libona njani lokho kwenzakalayo elizweni. Siyezwa abanye bekhalala besithi izinto azimanga kuhle lapho abakhona. Bayazama ngempela ukuhlonipha umthetho kahulumende ukuthi hayi stay at home. Sikhuluma nje we're in week 3 of i-lockdown iyaphela phela next week. And abantu bathi bayazama ngempela ukuhlonipha umthetho of staying at home, kodwa njengoba udaba lokuswelakala kwempuphu njalo udaba lokuswelakala kwamanzi bathi kwenza ukuthi kube nzima. So sile ngxoxo esiyenze lo mnumzana uNkosikhona Dibiti. Dibiti is a broadcaster. He is the founder of Community Podium TV. uDibiti uyasitshela okunengi phela ukuthi izinto zime njani koBulawayo when we're talking about umkhuhlane lo coronavirus. For those that don't know, Bulawayo also has a couple of cases of people who have tested positive for COVID-19. So uDibiti uyangitshela okunengi esithi abantu khanya ngani sebesesaba, because before bathole umkhuhlane lo we-COVID-19, before there were any cases, utho abantu didn't understand ngempela ukuthi how serious is umkhuhlane lo we-coronavirus. Ngiyabona ukuthi uDokotela Simemeza is back. Doc, can you hear me now? Are you back on the program? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Glad to have you back. Right. Now, I was highlighting several different things, and we were about to move forward the conversation, and I want to talk about another thing that seemed to be highlighted, and then we're going to have to wrap up so I can move over the conversation. Last week, Tuesday, we saw government giving the green light to herbalists. The city, there you go. Try out. Let's see how it works. Are you able to help with this issue of coronavirus? Now, considering the fact, as we speak, there is no cure for coronavirus. As medical practitioners, what do you think of this?
Okay, I read the article, and it seemed as if it was saying that the government is giving go ahead for herbalists to try find a cure for the virus. I think this is a really risky position to try out things, because like I said before, we do not know what this virus can do. And let me give you an example. China is one of the main hubs of herbalists. It has the most experienced and the most herbalists in the world. So if they failed to contain this virus using that particular direction, I don't think we are going to succeed as well. So I think it's a dangerous way to do it if we are looking for a curative measure towards coronavirus. But if they say the herbalists are coming in terms of giving people advice on what herbs to take that can boost your immune system based on studies that have been done, that would be a good move. But if they come in the approach of trying to get a cure for the virus that they haven't even seen or they haven't used the herbs on, I don't think it's time to experiment. I think it's time to work with what has been proven and help mitigate this problem as soon as possible. I don't think it's time to be starting to experiment on a virus.
All right. He doesn't think it's time to experiment. It's not time what exactly works. All right, Dr. Simemeza, unfortunately our time is up, but thank you so much for taking time out to join us on the program. I really appreciate you taking time out. Thank you so much, Chief. Dr. Simemeza, thank you so much for taking time out. So Maria Zimbabwe, you just heard there from Udokotela Tinotenda Simemeza. We are showing Dr. Simemeza ukuthi ngombono wabo lokho ukuthi uhulumende is given a green light to ama-herbalist ukuthi bazame bona ukubona ukuthi what can they akhona in ama-herbs that they can use ukuthuthukisa phela immune system ukuze abantu babone ngani bazame ukulwisana ngalo umkhuhlane we-coronavirus. UDr Sibeza uthi bona njengama-medical practitioners babona ngani uhulumende should wait a little bit kumele baqale phela umhlaba wonke jikelele uthole i-cure for i-coronavirus before they experiment. Uthi ngesikhiwa uthi this is not time for experimentation. Mune Zimbabwe, unfortunately, Magachira Chirongwa Chirichebe Chidiki, Uhlelo Connection, Lilami Umike Wowe, but unfortunately, this is a pre-recorded program, so you cannot join the program as we usually do. Lapho lisishayela incingo. Kodwa lapho kusithumezela imibono yenu phezu kwalolu hlelo ku-WhatsApp kunombolo ethi +12024650318 ndiyo namba yamokhwalisa ukuthi thumela mashoko enyu pa-WhatsApp kuti muthi udzoka ukuthi kwamuri zvinhu zviri kufamba sei tapinda kamu-week 3 yechirongwa chehurumende che-lockdown 21 days and abvunza Dr. Simemeza kuti nemaondro avo zvinhu zviri kufamba zvakanaka here vakati tichiona kanyaya yekuti yema-numbers ari kungoendera mberi achikwira. There's a possibility yekuti ivo sema-health experts vari kuona kunge hurumende inokwanisa kutora danho rakatorwa nenyika yeSouth Africa rakatorwa nemutungamiri weSouth Africa Vasiro Ramaphosa apo takaona South Africa inga ichifanira kupedza 21 days dzavo musi wa16 asi mutungamiri wenyika akati bodo chimbomirai ngatiwedzerei dzimwe 2 weeks. Saka tiudzewo maondero enyu paWhatsApp panamba dzinoti +12024650318 makatirira chirongwa chedu cheve chidiki uhlelo The Connection linami uMike Hove.
Zikhipha lapho egama nguMawiza, I'm a kwaito artist aka Mr. Mkhulumi sikhiwa ngeVenecue. Guys, COVID-19 abayibiza ngecorona into ekhona. Phambili nge-social distancing, asigezeni izandla always, stay safe, stay home. Last number.
Easy, easy, easy machita, easy, easy, easy.
Shout out to my guy there, uMawiza liyazibonela nje ukuthi even abahlale beleli bona bayazama ngempela bayatshela uZulu ukuthi anzigeza imawokho manzazwa tshawurwa kana Dr. Sibemeza anzi shandisa isipho kuitwa ukuthi mugeze imawokho. Now Zimbabwe muhle, you know, I have another person joining me ikuhlelo lethu labasakhulayo nasi Mchirongwa ndimzvare Beatrice Savage wesangano re-Roots. Now Roots has been taking to the streets of Zimbabwe, helping the less fortunate. Tinonzwa vazhinji vachichema nenyaya yekushayikwa kwemvura, nenyaya yekushayikwa kwehupfu. Roots is one of the organizations that have taken it upon themselves, working alongside government to help these people. Ngatinzweka zhizhi kubva kuna Muzvare Savage. Beatrice, welcome to the program. Thank you for taking time out.
Thank you very much, Mike.
How are things by Muruko?
Things are a bit not okay because of the challenges that you've just highlighted. Every day we are getting stress calls, messages, people saying we are dying of hunger. Atina chekupa vana, we are on ARVs, tashaya chekudya, nasangorarira mvura tashaya zvekuita. So it's really a difficult situation. People being in lockdown without anything to put on their tables now.
Mm-hmm. Now, fortunately, there's people like you. You're not alone. Of course, there's other organizations that have GoFundMes and so forth and so forth. But I've seen people personally attest to the work that you guys have done. How many people have you guys helped thus far, and what's the plan moving forward? I mean, there's 1 week left for lockdown.
So far, we have supported 201 families with our food packs. The plan is to actually just scale up and continue to support families that are in need. And we're very thankful for your program, because when you aired the program sometime last week, we actually managed to get other people whom would have missed. Like, we got a group of 42 women in Epworth, visually impaired, who reached out to us after hearing your radio program. So that's the plan. Our funding or our support is actually based on citizens just coming together to support our initiative and donating. So how much we're going to do is actually dependent on how much people are going to, generously give towards our food packs drive to support people that are affected this lockdown.
Now, tichitarisa ndabotaura naumwe doctor wakati pane mukana ivo medical practitioners they are hoping that mutungamiriri wenyika might extend the lockdown, seeing as though the numbers are still going up. If there is an extension, Ms. Sangano, are you going to continuously be going out there in the communities helping people?
Yes, definitely. We will continue to protect our staff members so that they do not get affected by coronavirus. As much as possible, they have protective clothing, and we make sure that we also don't transmit any virus to the communities that we're working with. But definitely there's a need. We have met members of the community who are like very vulnerable, as I'm saying. I was really touched by that group of visually impaired women who said we actually rely on, begging daily in the CBD of Harare, but now that there's a lockdown, we don't have anything to give our families. So as an organization, we have just agreed, and the board, that we're going to continue to support families as much as we can. We've also approached our funding partners to say, hey, the funding that we have, that we had planned to do community dialogues and stuff like that, can we channel that money towards, providing emergency food packs? Like I'm saying, some of the key issues that are affecting people now, we have received a lot of cases of gender-based violence where women have reached us needing a temporary shelter, and they're coming to the shelter with their children as well. So all besides the families or individuals that were supporting that are in the community, we have people that are now at our GBV shelter and children that are now at our GBV shelter that are also in need of food and clothing. So we're just going to continue. If the president extends the lockdown, we're just going to support for that period as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, Beatrice, unfortunately, my time is running out. I wish I could have had you for longer. But there's people who are probably watching and listening like last time who are dying to get assistance from Roots. So as we wrap up our interview and our conversation, could you tell the people where they can find more info on Roots, and who exactly are you guys prioritizing? Because your organization, Roots, mainly works with the women, uplifting women's rights.
Mm-hmm. So if people need information, they can reach us on phone number 0776 542 583. They can text or call on that number, or they can visit our Facebook page, Roots Africa, or they can reach us on Twitter, Roots_Africa. For those who want to support and those who need support.
All right. Thank you so much, Mujare Savage. Thank you so much. I will be calling you so that we can have another separate interview so that we... But thank you so much for taking time out to be on the program. All right, Muria Zimbabwe, you just heard there from Beatrice Savage, we Sangano Re Roots. You heard the Sangano Re Roots vane chirongwa chavo uko vari kubatsira vanhu vari kusangana nedambudziko rekushayikwa kwemvura, uyezve vanhukadzi vari mudzimba umo vane kodzero dzavo dziri kumbunyikidzwa. Roots Africa vati vane shelter uko vachange they are looking to house people who are looking for assistance in that respect. Saka tipinda muchirongwa muri Zimbabwe muchudza maondo enyu, munokwanisa kuchitumira mashoko enyu paWhatsApp panamba dzinoti +1 202 465 0318. Makatirira chirongwa chedu cheve chidiki uhlelo The Connection ndilami uMike Hove. Silusizi zulukandaba ukuthi uhlelo lolu is not live, ngeke asikwanisi ukulethulela uhlelo lolu njengensukwini lapho lishayela uncingo. Angiyalikhumbula ngempela zulukandaba, I wish you guys could call in sixoxe phela ngobuningi bethu njengabontanga njengabantu abasakhulayo. Kodwa i-coronavirus is very jealous because of COVID-19. I'm working straight from home. Kodwa lakho ukusithumezela imibono yenu WhatsApp kunombolo ethi +1 202 465 0318.
COVID-19 uzamire mbesone mumwe mire wanimita kupapane mumwe kezaina wegone sipo kwesendisegezi kana kudarika ezai kusaungana ezai kusaenda paruzinji nekuti COVID-19 chirwere chiriko. Garai muchisanitizer, gara unekako kasanitizer nekuti kandeura ya virus virus kugombera symptom kupisa muviri symptom kutadza kupema zvakanaka pana chakanaka pa masymptom kana uchida rubatsiro fona pa2019 rubatsiro runouya pauri asingati zvichengetedzei hama.
Swa! That was Jazz Signal, Muri Zimbabwe Jazz Signal partnering up with Roots Africa. That footage was courtesy of Roots Africa. Manzwaka, kunachirarira hanzi gezai maoko, zvidzivirei Muri Zimbabwe. Play your role. Now, earlier on, I mentioned how I've spoken to abantu endaweni ezitshiyeneyo okugoqela kontutuzethu ngokubulawayo thine hurukuru yatakaita na Nkosikhona David of Community Podium TV. Nkosikhona basically breaks it down ukuthi kahle kahle kobulawayo kontutuzethu how are people embracing indaba lezi lokho kuwenzakalayo Gobulawayo. We're not talking about umkhuhlane lo we-coronavirus. So let's head over to the interview I did over the weekend. Nkosikhona David was a straight over name. All right, Mr. Tiviti, welcome to The Connection. How are you doing, Chief?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking time out. How are things where you guys are when speaking about COVID-19?
A few challenges ezihambisana with the COVID-19 in terms of ukuthi amanzi siku 96-hour water shedding and lakhona kulama issues ukuthi impuphu, which is one of the key things abantu abazifunayo ekudleni lapha azitholakali. So when the lockdown was announced, it was announced on a Friday night, or on a Friday night, if I remember well, into effect on Sunday midnight into Monday. So many people panicked, some had not prepared for it, and then kwasukuswa le spiral ama queues kuma milli-milk queues where everyone was thinking, if I don't get it today, we might never get it because it has been in short supply for some time. Then besikhangela indaba zamanzi where people still have to go and look for water. Ukuthi bageze lezo zandla lokuthi basebenzise ezindlini. Those are the key issues. Okuhambisana lokuthi COVID-19, we have to wash the message we are sending out is wash your hands, make sure you stay at home, which has been impossible a bit and not practical for especially ama residents babe sithi ngeke sihlale endini impuphu kuthiwa ikhona emagrosa ngeke siyekele ukuyadinga amanzi, things like that.
Now, you are the founder of Community Podium TV, Gobulawayo, which means you are partaking in the role of ukufundisa abantu okunengi mayelana ngalo mkhuhlane. How are people taking in this information? Njengoba usanda ukusho ukuthi abantu are still going out ngobunengi babo beyodinga impuphu, beyodinga amanzi and so forth.
Yeah, as Community Podium TV bese siqalise iprocess yokukhulumisana lezakhamizi sifundisana ukuthi hayi badala into okuthiwa i-coronavirus asonto yokudlala into ekhona, into kumele ukuthi sibone ukuthi siyajinja impilo zethu here and there to make sure ukuthi asifi siphele sonke. So abadala have been responsive to that, but the major stumbling block has been issues of milli-meal, where everyone was actually going all out, giving that excuse ukuthi nisayadinga impuphu, but thina sithi no, nxa umuntu esiyadinga impuphu asenzeni i-social distancing lakhona. I-social distancing means ukuthi umuntu singabambani, singathintani, sigcwale endaweni eyi-1, silayinele impuphu, asimenini sitshelaneni space ngoba sikwazi ukuthi olayo ngubani ezintweni ezinjalo. So those are the issues, and unfortunately water shedding is not going anywhere even if we have COVID-19. So we have to accept lakhona ukuthi sesikhulumisana lezakhamizi ukuthi hayi ina observation sesibona ukuthi abantu abazali bathumela abantwana kakhulu kuyadinga amanzi, bazali thumelani nabantu abakhulileyo abazwisisayo ukuthi kwenzakalayo, kuyenzwa leyo social distancing futhi ezibhoraneni emanzini.
Now, you've highlighted ukuthi people are, faced by certain challenges and impuphu. Is there anything that's being done either by government or local municipalities to help people with these challenges when we're talking about and amanzi?
We have received communication from Grain Millers Association that they've put Bulawayo into zones that is coming into effect like on Monday. So we are hoping, and we've been in touch with community leaders in various wards in the sample that we can access to say, okay, but what's going on? And they've confirmed that they've received communication from the police that they will assist people in terms of indaba social distancing. But bebefisa ukuthi ama-residents ancedise kakhulu, of which we've gotten feedback from councillors and also ama-leaders ama-residents. So that communication is there ukuthi kuncediswa labazali ukuthi bebekwazi ukuthi nge-Tuesday ikhona impuphu but bazancedisana namapholisa ukuthi kube le-social distancing. And then on the water issue, uCouncil is saying ukuthi khona bazaba lama water bowsers. So those are some of the follow-up issues that we have at hand to check what's going on, to help communities and see the gaps esingacover khona in terms of knowledge sharing lama communities to sinanzelela ukuthi khona esiboraneni kungathi kungcono ukuhamba abantu abadala kungathunyelwa abantwana as usual ukuthi hamba uthatha amanzi uphenduke hamba uthatha amanzi ngoba laba akulahlelo esingathi khona lungaba bangathola information yaleyo masinya nxa bengasafundiswanga ngabazali repetitively ukuthi bazwisise ukuthi kuhamba njani.
Now, Diviti, let's move forward beyond just the residents themselves. You guys as journalists, we've spoken to several different journalists, and one of the biggest pleas seems to be that when President Emmerson Mnangagwa announced Uwuti there's going to be a lockdown, he highlighted certain people that are going to be part of what they're calling essential services. Journalists are amongst those. However, journalists are still going about highlighting the city, making it very difficult for them to conduct their business as journalists. Have you experienced something similar or heard of something similar?
Yes, I've heard of something similar through IMISA Zimbabwe. So ngingathi thina as an organization lathi sesisebenza with caution in terms of we say to ourselves we are not going to go beyond, because our residential areas and areas where we can access easily without crossing the barricades that have been put by the police, because unions that represent journalists have been calling for a confirmation by the government of Zimbabwe that media is an essential service, and we only have 2019 press cards. There is no one with 2020 press cards. So that government has to confirm so that the security services can also note that, because the reports we are getting it's not going to be easy for us as we do our work, and we are greatly affected even as ourselves, because we have to sebenza with caution. Whatever you have, you don't really feel okay covering a certain story in a minimal queue. We are on the lookout, actually, like really literally. You rather do mobile phone and quickly do what you have to do and disappear, which is not good for what we are trying to do in terms of sharing information with Izakamizi and helping in this fight.
All right, Zulugandaba, that was Unkosikona David, Community Podium TV. For those that are looking for the interview there, we're going to be uploading it on our Facebook pages. Uhlelo is going to be available on our 3 Facebook pages: VOA Ndebele, VOA Studio 7, Change Triple Zokaraba, VOA Shona. Saka mchange patino upload that chirongwa ichi aiwa muri Zimbabwe msakangana kutinya paye pakanzi share kuitira kuti one chirongwa ichi no wandu wedu. Now, earlier on, you saw me speaking about Beatrice Savage, Oenhlanganiso Roots, Bona Bati Ba Balo Shelo, Olujonge, Ugututugiza, Ogusiza Abantu who need assistance in Masis Kulumangenta Basimpupu in Tabanjalos of Solagalamanzi. You heard Beatrice Casisa, they've helped Abantu abaning in Bella, and recently Abantu who are blind who are helped in Epworth. But now is Zimbabwe all over the world are trying by all means, to fundraise imali, to ensure ukuthi abodokotela bona they get the necessary protective gear that they need. Njalo bathola phela ama-masks. Those that are in need will be getting ukudla and so forth. Omunye wabo ngumnumzana uFarai Muvuti. uFarai is based ngale Engilandi. Engilandi izalwane zeZimbabwe have recently launched a GoFundMe page. Lapho they're looking to fundraise £5,000, which is going to be sent to Zimbabwe, which targets, like I mentioned, helping doctors with protective gear, masks, the gloves, so forth, and those that are in need of food during this lockdown process. That money will also be used for the same reasons. Let's head over to an interview that I did Farai Muvuti over the weekend. Asitshele phela okunengi mayelana nalolu hlelo. Farai, welcome to our youth program. How are you doing, brother?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I hope you're well, and hoping that the lockdown situation is working well for you as we try to, find a rationale in all of this.
We're doing all right so far. In England,
it's okay so far. Of course, the numbers are going up, but if we are to take what the government is saying with confidence, they really are trying to flatten the curve. So there's been a sharp rise, and they're anticipating that it will rise in the next week or two yet again. And they're hoping that by then they'll have contained it. So I think, in light of everything, one can merely just hope and wait and see how what the outcomes are. But so far we're safe. We are good. Of course, a few family members are affected, so I have direct connection to it. So we're also trying to see how they are responding to treatment as well. So it's hard times, but at the same time we have to remain hopeful. So hence why this call is important as well.
Better. So I brought here so we could talk a little about the fundraising that you guys have going on. I know you guys set up a GoFundMe page where you guys are raising, some money to, of course, you're going to tell us more, but to help people back home. So could we delve into that? What exactly is this GoFundMe page for? And who exactly are you guys targeting?
Okay, so great question. So what happened is that the COVID Zim diaspora sort of campaign came about by a number of people that have been engaging in the community. So you have community leaders such as people from a company called Team Zimbabwe, which are quite prominent in the UK, Tengai Online, which is also quite an established business here that also facilitates money transfers and grocery purchases from the UK to in Zimbabwe, and a couple of other legal entities that are within the executive committee of the actual organizing committee. And so all these different community sectors came together and thought, well, let's try and do our bit, considering that we have relatives back home, we have a strong nexus back home, and we want to see Zimbabwe being more prepared. It's inspired by, of course, all the other community teams that are based in the United States and South Africa that are equally doing the same thing. So we wanted to be the UK response that does that. So we quickly connected with government officials. We had a discussion with the Minister at Health level, and we spoke to people like Mangujiga to understand what are the areas. But more so, it's also a team of healthcare workers as well. So the head of the health committee side of things is Dr. Agatha, who is equally quite well versed with with the health element of it and the sense of urgency thereof. So we thought we'll come together and then to try to raise not only just awareness but to fundraise with the target of £5,000 to go towards the critical areas of need back home, which is PPE and supporting the wage bill, as well as the social welfare fund that will go towards those who are currently incapacitated as a consequence of the current lockdown.
Now, you mentioned the target itself, £5,000. Fundraiser, just to why is the target 5,000?
So in terms of what the calculations were, so the current calculations were focused on mainly on healthcare equipment. So we're looking at allocating about £3,000 towards PPE equipment, and then the rest going toward contributing towards the National Support Welfare Fund. And we deemed it to be. We had to factor in. We thought to factor in the issue of people not being able to go to work and the financial capacity of people being very limited. So we wanted to be practical with our financial expectations and our financial goals. So we wanted to also, bearing in mind that we are also global citizens by virtue of us being in the UK, but we thought that it would be good for us being in a developed country whose healthcare facilities are funded by our tax and public funding, to leverage that advantage, whereby in Zimbabwe it isn't the same situation. So we thought, let's cap it at a place that is practical and something that we can quickly raise and quickly contribute to equally help flatten the curve in Zimbabwe. So that's really what the rationale behind the size of the amount.
All right, that was the Umnumzana Ufarai Muvuti or Zim Diaspora Response Fundraising. It's a lot of Zimbabwe's pillar. Nane Engilandi. These are Zimbabweans who set up a GoFundMe page. Check it out. Zim Diaspora Response Fundraising COVID-19. Thus far, they have fundraised £1,035. The goal is £5,000. The full interview is going to be available on our website, www.voazimbabwe.com. Makatira chirongwa chedu cheve chidiki, mswakazo muhle, Zimbabwe muhle, uhlelo The Connection lilami uMike Hove.
Wash your hands with soap and water before you eat, after using the toilet, after touching anything many other people touch, like a seat on a public bus. Scrub thoroughly for 20 seconds. If you cannot wash your hands, use a hand sanitizer. Taking these steps can prevent not only coronavirus, but also colds and flu and other viruses. For more information, visit the World Health Organization's website, www.who.int, or the Centers for Disease Control's website, www.cdc.gov.
Gwanele kwanamhla mthwakazo muhle Zimbabwe muhle thashika kumagume chirongwa chedu cha nasi chirongwa The Connection moyineni Mike Hove. Quick recap as we wrap up the conversation. Nasi mchirongwa chakachibata nyaye zechirwere che coronavirus, umkhuhlane we coronavirus. As we speak, mthwakazo muhle Zimbabwe muhle kulabantu abayi 17 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in the country. 3 people have passed away, and of those 17, 9 bangabantu abasakhulayo under the age of 35. Sikhuluma nje, Ministry of Health have informed the public ukuthi 604 people have been tested for coronavirus. 587 people have tested negative, and like I mentioned again, 17 positive and 3 have passed on. Kwanele mhlambi muri eZimbabwe mthakazo muhle thashika kumagume chirongwa chedu cha nasi. Ngiyabonga wonke umuntu othathelele ithuba ukungena kuhlelo, lingakhohlwa phela zilukandaba ukuthi this program is going to be available on our 3 Facebook pages, VOA Ndebele, VOA Shona Shange Triple Zokare, but VOA Studio 7 sakapatino upload chirongwa aiwa msakangana kutinya paye pakanzi share kuitira kutone chirongwa chi ne uwandu wedu. Kwanele kwanamhla mthakazo muhle thashika kumagume chirongwa chedu cha nasi anokuoneka ine mfaro ndini wenyu Mike Hove. Msakangano ndiripo pa Twitter nepa Instagram @BigMike3 BIGMYKE3. Saka vanoda kukurukura neni munokwanisa dibata ipapo. Muri eZimbabwe mashoko yenyu tumirai pa WhatsApp pa +1 202 465 0318. Ngoya yangu ndiyo ajikanana anokuoneka ine mfaro tosangana same place, same time, same place next week. Bye bye.